All right, Kenny, I tell you what, man, one of the great things about this conference is you meet really, really cool people. And I tell you what, before there was five guys,
Right.
there was 5Q. So I want to introduce Wade Phillips from 5Q. Wade, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you, Eric.
Yeah.
Wade Hughes, sorry, I missed you. This is Wade Hughes. Wade, so tell us a little bit about 5Q.
Yeah, 5Q provides IT services, a full range of services strictly for the commercial real estate industry. We do leadership services, managed services from a network, help desk standpoint, application support, and data center management and migration, and then we also do project work.
Great.
Very cool. Well, how did you come up with the name 5Q? That's pretty interesting.
Well, I'll have to give credit to my four partners for that. The original company was started by them in the parking lot of Georgia Tech campus after the football game. So the fifth quarter is
nice.
what 5Q stands
really
for,
cool.
right?
All great ideas either happen pre-game or after game, right?
Absolutely. All great ideas come out of the tailgate.
Are you guys based in Atlanta?
We're based in Atlanta, but we have an office, significantly growing office in Dallas, Texas as well, and looking to expand to the West Coast.
Well, I'm from Atlanta, so I'm
Hey,
familiar
all
with that
right.
Georgia Tech parking lot, and probably thought of some ideas at the varsity, and I won't name all the bars you guys probably went to. But well, listen, you know, it's kind of my first time meeting you, but I know you guys have been here before, and
Yes.
what's different now than what have you done since the last time you were interviewed on?
Well, 5Q continues to grow. We're really blessed with that. We've grown about 20% and added just a ton of people in both Dallas and Atlanta this past year. We were awarded the fourth fastest growing commercial real estate related company in Atlanta.
Congratulations.
The top 100 fastest growing companies. So we were really excited about that and waiting to hear about another award we applied for. But we're growing. Our client base has increased to over 50 now, and so and just expanding our services. So.
Yeah, well, tell us about that. You've expanded your services, I understand.
We have been. Last year we talked a good bit about the beginnings of a cybersecurity program that we've been developing to make it easy for our clients to meet their own standards for cybersecurity, help them develop the standards and then meet them. And since then, we've done over 100 buildings where we've crawled through millions of square feet, every single square foot of the building, identified devices that are on the network, devices that are not on the network that need to be decommissioned and gotten rid of. And so 100% of those buildings, the diagrams that we were given to say this is what the network has, 100% of those have been wrong. And so so we now help our clients to document what's there and then layer the cybersecurity protection on top of that.
Well, Atlanta's kind of a hub for that, right? Georgia Tech, I know for
Right.
sure, does a lot of research. And Ken and I both come from the building automation control side.
Right.
So we're very aware of it from people coming through the building automation system. So, but it's amazing how many people don't have a plan in place. Are you finding that, or are you finding more people adopt?
We're helping our clients oftentimes have a corporate plan, but they don't have a plan for their assets. They're one of their most valuable assets is their people, but second is their properties. And depending on what your mindset is, that's probably the number one asset they have. But those are not protected like the corporate side is protected. So we're helping our clients carry that cybersecurity policy and procedures down to the building level. So.
Well, Wade, it's great to see you here at Realcomm, IBCon. What is 5Q promoting at Realcomm this year?
Really the phase 3 of our process this year. We talked a lot about assessment and remediation last year, and this year it's really about adding that ongoing layer of protection and even advanced threat detection. Working with several partners in that area right now to have 24/7 monitoring, not only of just uptime of the network and typical traffic and security on the network, but really getting advanced in that area. But what's even more important in phase 3 of our program is having the policies and procedures and the controls to make sure that the building doesn't go back to where it was when we started the process. Because that's what happens. If you don't have the right coordination between building engineers, property managers, and IT, then it can get
How do you,
up quick.
That's just so challenging. How do you police that, or how do you monitor that? Because you can have a great program, and then the day you walk out, the problem could begin again because you have nobody managing or monitoring.
Well, it's a lot of what they talked about this morning in the keynote. It starts at the top.
Right.
So you've got to have that support at the top, whether it comes from the audit committee or the chief executive officers. It's got to come down through the organization to say this is a priority. You cannot go hook anything to a network. And as you know from the IoT, everything is now connecting to the network. So IT has to be at that table. We have to be part of that, and hopefully up in the initial design, but certainly before you sign a contract for another circuit or buy another firewall or allow a vendor to plug into a port. That needs to be coordinated through IT. And then what we have to do with our IT organizations, with the clients we work with, is make sure they're nimble enough to be able to respond, because buildings are moving at the speed of light, and
Really
so
are.
you know, and you've got 100 of them at any given time. So it's not easy, but the first thing is just to have it defined.
Yeah.
As we I don't know if you guys were in the cybersecurity forum yesterday.
Sure.
We were talking about the maturity model.
Yeah.
Well, number two is, I think it was number two, is defined, and then you move into a full-blown policy and procedure. So we're helping them get it defined and then execute that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, so walk us through, if you could, sort of briefly, sort of like an owner contacts you. Sort of walk us through the process of how you guys interact with them and first, second step.
Yeah, so if they want to engage us to help them develop a cybersecurity program, which is our preference, the very first thing we do is look at what they have. Do you have anything documented whatsoever? Most of them do at the corporate level,
Right.
but then we talk about how does that extend to the buildings? Well, is it a company managed building, or is it a third party managed building? Who's got the responsibility, the company or the third party? While we're doing that, simultaneously, we need to get into the building to look at every square foot of the building and find, they think they know what's in the building, but like I said before, they don't. And so we need to get in there and find out what is in the building, and then compare that to the standard, which half of them have standards and the other half don't.
Sure.
We'll help them define that standard, and then we'll remediate to that standard as quickly as possible.
Wait, kind of circling back, so what you're doing here at this year's RealCom, how does that apply to your overall theme?
Our overall theme of
Well,
sorry,
5Q?
the
The theme of the conference.
of the conference is, well, obviously cybersecurity is
Yeah, sure.
one of the biggest themes here, and obviously big data and business intelligence. We're really focusing on the cybersecurity aspect of that, and I think the biggest message we could deliver related to that whole topic is it's not as hard as you think. If you try to boil the ocean, if you try to look at your whole enterprise strategy, and you look at all your vendors, and you want to have vendor controls, and just start with your own buildings and just figure out what you have,
Right.
because you can't protect what you don't know. And so that's the number one thing, and it's not that hard. So get that going, and then you're well on your way to an enterprise level strategy.
Are you guys seeing, because it seems like this problem's never going to go away, right? I mean, I
yeah,
don't
the
think
bad guys get
cyber hackers, they're going to, yeah, they keep going.
Right.
And I think when you talk about acceleration, you know, we think about the technologies accelerating on our side and your side, and obviously the bad guys' side too. And are you seeing the activity and the sophistication pick up a lot, or what are you seeing there?
Yeah, we do. We see that all the time, because the what we call cybersecurity 101 is just a good firewall that can give you that information and tell you exactly where threats are coming from. So we can tell all of our clients how many threats they've had from China, how many they've had from Russia that never made it through and they got pushed aside. And yeah, that number is skyrocketing. But that stuff is fairly easy to block. We talked last year about KnowBefore, and one of the softwares that we use for end user education, so that we make sure the end user doesn't open the door. The firewall is going to block some things, but the end user can also just open the door wide open and say, come on in.
Because Facebook's really, really hack-proof, right? So it's okay if you get it on your Facebook profile. You're
Right.
Not, definitely not. But that's one of the things that happens, right?
Yeah.
Somebody goes, yeah, I'll just plug in and check my Facebook account or my Twitter, and
Yikes.
it's a way to get in, right?
That's one of the ways, yeah, and it's just opening an email that looks curious.
Yeah.
Oftentimes they'll cloak it in a Facebook or something personally related.
Right.
You've got a package, check and see what your package is, and just things like that. They're easily fooled, and we use KnowBefore on ourselves, and we even fall for it every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
Wait, I'm curious, from last year to this year, have you seen an adoption rate that's more compelling, that people really get it, that there's a serious threat out there and it's time to take action?
Absolutely, action is the key. This is our fourth year of coming and sponsoring here, so third to sponsor, fourth to be here, and it was all talk. The first 2 years was really all talk. Starting last year, we left this conference, and that's when we went through about 100 buildings, about 125 buildings since last conference, and that is the key. People are taking action, and once you start that, you're going to learn a lot.
Yeah.
You're going to learn what you didn't have, and then the byproduct of those assessments is a lot more than cybersecurity. It has to do with IT asset management and change management, knowing how quickly, if you need to change a building control system, how quickly you can adapt, because can get them connected, whereas you can't if you don't know how you've got it configured.
Well, this is fascinating stuff. I think you're very, very timely. Your company, I think, is in the sweet spot because this isn't going to go away.
We're very
How do people engage you guys? What's the best way to contact you?
Well, we have a booth right over here at 157 is one way. Love to have folks come to the panel that we're talking about on 3:15 tomorrow.
3:15?
Yeah, hopefully Jim's going to provide some free beers so people don't leave early, but we'll and keep us awake. But no, we'll be talking about how do you get started on a cybersecurity program. But then 5qpartners.com is our website. So.
And if all else fails, go to a Georgia Tech home game.
There you go.
Look at the tailgating parking lot, and you'll probably see
these guys out at the
there.
tailgate. Yeah, there we go.
That's right.
For sure. Well, thank you so much, my friend.
All right, thank you guys. Great to meet you.
Yep.
Great to meet you too. Here.